It is the first MotoE race of 2023. It's also the first time we are covering the series live here on JB Motorsports, and also the first time in around about 2 seasons that I've commentated on MotoE as well. I did the first season as a test run. It was very exciting. And then, of course, it sort of developed from there. Had a bit of an off-season last year, but now, this year, after 4 seasons as a World Cup, we are now go for a World Championship event. Good morning and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching in the world, and welcome to MotoE, a World Championship for the French Grand Prix to kick off at the Grand Prix 1000. It's going to be absolutely electric, pun definitely intended. Here's your starting grid then. Row 1 sees Matteo Ferrari on pole position, and Hector Garzo second. Jordi Torres starts in third. Second row sees Randy Cumanacco as well in fourth. Kevin Manfred is in fifth, with Nicholas Spinell in 6th position. Matteo Cassidy is 7th. Kevin Zanoni as well is in 8th. Miguel Pons is in 9th. 10th for Andrea Mantovani, and then Alessandro Zanconi starts 11th as well. Okubu starts in 12th position. Tito Rabat, we all remember Tito Rabat, don't we, from MotoGP? He starts 13th. Alessio Finelio starts 14th. Luca Salvadori, not Lorenzo Salvadori, the other one, Luca Salvadori, he starts 15th. Mika Perez is 16th. Maria Herrera, she starts 17th, the only female rider in this series. Well, it's a short, sweet race here for MotoE, just 8 laps ahead of us. The start has been delayed, however, we've just been told, for 5 minutes. Track temperature is at 25 degrees, air temperature 17, 77% humidity. So I wonder why we've got it. Let's go to Susie Perry then for info.
Le Mans. That's coming up for you later on this afternoon, but now our first race of the day, and it's MotoE. It's their season opener. They've got 8 rounds this year, and it is now a World Championship. We can head over to Gavin Emmett for the commentary on this with Matteo Ferrari in pole position.
Yeah, thank you very much, Susie. We are
Race
ready to
delay
go
for
with the
technical
first
issues.
MotoE race of the season. But as you can see from our schedule that's just popped up, we're going to get a little bit of a delay. We're no wiser to know, but we will be getting going sooner rather than later, it looks like. 12:15 local time here, so as you see, in about 8 minutes time we will get going with this MotoE race, and Matteo Ferrari does start from pole position as Miguel Pons down on the LCR, sole rider in the LCR Honda team, or Honda, I say that, E-team. I'm going to get confused all the way through this, but because Eric Granado, his teammate, the favourite for the championship this season, is the most successful racer actually, Granado, in MotoE. But unfortunately, he's out, Michael. Michael Avati is alongside me for what will be an 8-lap MotoE race. And it's a shame, isn't it? Granado had that huge crash in Barcelona last week.
Yeah, obviously a big impact for him there, but it sounds like he's recovering quite well, maybe out for a little bit of time, so not on the grid, and he has been the man setting the pace in pre-season testing. They did have a bit of a dummy race in it. Obviously, the main protagonist didn't actually complete the full race in testing, but it did look like they had the race pace, so yeah, Granado on the sidelines this weekend, and the LCR E-team flying solo.
Yeah, you'll notice that a lot of the teams are basically from the MotoGP, independent MotoGP teams, and a couple of others from other classes in the MotoGP championships like Moto2 and Moto3. You'll see the Simoncelli 58 colours out there too. Andrea Mantovani down there getting himself ready to go for the RNF MotoE team. A little bit about this championship, if you haven't watched MotoE before, for the first time, it is a championship, a world championship. It was a World Cup up till now. Certain criteria have to be met for something to be classed as a world championship. It's a minimum number of events, but also it has to show that it can be successful. 8 races this year, 2 races at those: France, Italy, Germany and Assen before the summer break, and then the British Grand Prix. You'll see the MotoE bikes out on show there, the Austrian Grand Prix, and then Barcelona, and finally bringing them home in Misano. Big home race, because as you can see from the shoulder of Alessandro Zacconi, you will have seen out on the Moto2 grid previously, Ducati are now providing the bikes. It's been Energico, an Italian brand up till now, but the fact that Ducati are now producing a MotoE bike is you know, the first electric bike that they've made.
Yeah, and it actually looks, I don't want to be disparaging towards Energica, but it's a bit more of a race bike. And speaking to Chaz Davies, he done a lot of the test riding initially with the Michele Pirro, and they built it based on ergonomics of the GP bikes, the GP21 Ducati, the rider position, and started to work from a base package that they know works quite well. So actually interesting that they didn't go the direction of the V4 Panigale. So yeah, it is Ducati's first foray into a proper e-bike, and by all accounts it does seem like it's a nice bike to ride. Everyone says that so far it's a little bit more intuitive. When you've come up riding an internal combustion engine bike, it's quite different when you jump on the e-bike, and getting the feeling that on the Energica seemed quite difficult. A lot of riders had crashes, really catching them out, whereas this seems like it works, and it's giving them the feedback they can ride it like a normal race machine, and it will continue to improve from here.
The challenges put down at Ducati's door essentially were to, again, they would say that the range was one, performance consistency has got to be, you know, similar. They want 8 lap, they want 15-minute races, but more than anything, Ducati were told make the bikes lighter, because the original Energica, I rode it 300 kilos, and then during the last couple of years it dropped down to about 250, 245. This Ducati's even lighter still. It's still a heavy bike, but you know, that's 110 kilos of batteries on it. But it's a much more raceable bike. Yeah,
it's obviously, I think it's shaved off 20 to 30 kilos, so quite a bit lighter, but still heavy in terms of a two-wheel motorcycle. So still going to have certain issues for the riders. Front locking has been something that we've heard of, that obviously when you're dealing with the mass, that 110 kilo battery, and it's centralized in the machine, but it's difficult. Obviously you're used to weight transfer in a certain way with a 50 kilo engine in a MotoE bike, for example, and now you've got more than double that in a battery power, so it is different. You've got the battery, the motor, and yeah, it just doesn't react the same.
It was funny because you've got an in with Chaz, haven't you? Yeah, you seem to have a good relationship with him. Yeah, but he sent us a voice message, so cheers to Chaz for as much information he's been able to give us. But he says, unsurprisingly, the bike doesn't wheelie. It also on the front end is a little bit, that's the problem, isn't it, on the front? You don't need wings on these things either. The front's quite well planted. So it looks like we are going to get going now after that slight delay to proceedings for an 8-lap MotoE race here at the French Grand Prix. The fans are in, and hopefully we'll get treated on qualifying and sprint day here at Le Mans. See the heat haze rising off the grid as we get ready.
The MotoE World Championship is about to get underway. Here is your starting grid, as I've gone through already before. Pole position to Matteo Ferrari, Hector second, Jordi Torres starts third, Kumanaka starts in fourth, Manfred is in fifth, and Spinelli is in sixth. Cassidy is in seventh as well. Then Zanoni is in eighth. Miguel Pons starts ninth on the grid. Andrea Martoni is 10th. Alessandro Zarconi is 11th. And Okubo starts 12th. Tito Rabat 13th. 14th on the grid for Alessio Finello. Lucas Albadori is 15th. Mika Perez 16th. Maria Herina, she starts down in 17th position. Sighting lap can now officially start, and the 8-lap MotoE race is about to get underway. Now, this is the thing, we do not have a parade lap in MotoE. If you're new to joining this championship, this is how it works. Basically, we'll get the signals, everyone's going to leave the grid, as they are doing now. They'll get the lights, and then they'll go straight away. The tyres have been warned, the tyre walls are taking away at the last possible second, but we are just going to go straight away. It's literally one of the craziest stunts. Even Formula E has a start procedure where they do a burnout and go to the grid from 4 rows back as their start procedure. But with MotoE, you don't need it because it's 8 laps. Tyre temperatures are going to get up to temperature really quickly. So basically, the tyre warmers get pulled off, everyone runs off the grid, and 10 seconds later, the lights go out. So it's a really quick procedure. 8 laps in total. The bikes this year for the first time now running with Ducati as well. So they are going to be a lot faster than what we saw in the past. 30 seconds to go then until the start procedure. All the tyre warmers now getting pulled off the grid as well, getting lowered down off the jacks. The riders now take full control. and the time's going to be getting very much into position. 8 laps ahead of us as well. You'll hear the whine of electric energy, but you're not going to hear completely any noise. So it's a bit like Formula E. View Agata as well with the big, Dominic Agata as well, getting up there as well. God, I love Dominic Agata as well. As they come through. Red flag at the front then. Everyone's off the track. The first ever MotoE World Championship race is about to get underway. It's been a World Cup for so long. It's time to see what we've got. Green flag in the back. Race 1 of 2023 is under starters' orders. Red lights on. And MotoE is lights out. Race on. Good start from Ferrari as well. Garzo comes in to defend for second position. And look at that. Hector Garzo's done the comeback. Garzo's going to lead in towards turn number 1. Late on the brakes into the Dunlop chicane now, coming into the Fords. Garzo leads, Ferrari's down into second position as well. Coming on the inside, Jordi Torres goes into third position. Nicolas Spinelli as well to fourth. Krumanaka's down to fifth. Miguel Pons still in sixth position as Garzo and Ferrari battle as they come into La Chapelle, and now on the back as well. No Dominic Agata in MotoE this year, unfortunately, as well. I know I was really disappointed with that as well as they come through. No jump starts, we've been told. Garzo leads, Ferrari's up into second position from where he dropped from pole. Jordi Torres in third, right at the back. Spinelli's dropped back a little bit more as well. As we see Mantovani up to 10th position, Zarconi down to 11th position as well as they come for the first time into Garage Vert as well. It's so quiet out there. They're hearing the track noise more than the bikes as well. But Garzo leading as they come down. There's the MotoE noise as well as they come into the Chem Aux Buet corner, the chicane at 9 and 10. This track littered with chicanes as well as they come back through. There's the energy of MotoE as they come into the S Blues corner. Ferrari on the back of Garzo. There's a different noise, and look at that! Ferrari thinking about a comeback on the inside of Garzo, coming into the S Blues chicane, not going to work out. Into the double droids du Recrutement, turn 13 and 14, gets on the part of the exit. Lap 1 complete then. 8 to go. Garzo leads, Ferrari second, Torres third, Spinelli up to fourth, Pons in fifth position as well. Garzo the best, Garzo the maniac. Yeah, Hector Garzo leading the way, but not for long as Mattia Ferrari on the inside line to turn 1, puts his Ducati electric powered bike round the outside, coming into the chicane. Garzo's going to literally defend it and keeps the position. Ferrari has to think about something else to do. Jordi Torres still in third position. Miguel Pons actually the biggest improver, up 4 places from where he started as well. So, and now we've got Kubo as he goes through into 10th position, but Ferrari on the inside of Hector Garzo down at La Chapelle barges his way through and defends the position into the Muse corner, the museum translation into English at turn 7, into Garage Vert now at turn number 8. Garzo's on the back, Ferrari's just defending a little bit. Yeah, it's okay into this part of the track, they're all going to get through cleanly as again Garzo right on the path. There's the MotoE noise as well. It does sound like a cement. Someone said it sounds like a cement mixer or like one of those hand blenders, but it's the rush of air you can hear coming through. Ferrari leading the way and defends hard. These bikes, by the way, incredibly heavy machines. They are heavier than Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP. They weigh so much. And if you go down, you're not picking the bike back up. Absolutely. So you're literally riding until you fall. Miguel Pons, though, started 9th, up to 5th, up 4 places. A fantastic performance on the 77 there as well as they come through. But Ferrari leading with Garzo in second, Torres in third, Spinelli up to 4th position as they come now on to start lap 3 of this race. A 140.350 for Matteo Ferrari as Hector Garzo to the inside at turn number 1, takes the position back, breezes through with a slipstream, goes a little bit wide. Ferrari trying to go around the outside, not going to work into the position. So Matteo Ferrari, 140.350, he's got the best race lap record. MotoE didn't race here last year, so I've got no information on my graphic for them as well, unfortunately. And do you know the information we get? We get a single page document. That's all we get from MotoE. We have to write our own stats on a separate page document as well. And Ferrari's looking behind him there as well to see where Jordi Torres is, because he's closed up, so is Spinelli. as well. Mattia Cassidy in 5th position. Miguel Pons now dropped down to 6th position. That's a disappointment then as they come through. Yeah, the race direction, we had to delay it due to technical issues as well. So the race should have technically already been over by now. It's not a long championship event, this one at all, but it's the way it goes, unfortunately, as they come back down. Garzo in 4th, Garzo leading in the number 4. Ferrari, number 11 in 2nd position as well, as they come into the chicane and Ox Boots as well at 9 and 10, back up towards the S Blues. And this is the battle for the lead of the race. It's the closest battle on the track at the moment as well, as they swing through a lot. Oh, we got a huge accident there, and is that Cassidy? I think, let's take a look. Oh, it's Nicola Spinelli. Spinelli has crashed out, rider okay, but he's gone down at the S Blues corner. You can hear the scraping on the floor. The bike just tipped away from under him. He's not going to get that back as well. They're too heavy. So Nicola Spinelli then crashing out. That brings out the yellow flag at the moment as Mattia Ferrari looks to the inside of Hector Garzo in towards Tomo. Garzo goes wide. Ferrari tries to get the cut back. Going to have the cut back. Coming into the Ford chicane at Dunlop. No, he's not going to get through there either. So Garzo just has to settle for the lead of the race, as we're seeing Alessio Finelio up to 14th position, and Maria Herena's up into 15th as well. Fantastic stuff. She has passed, and that's why she's passed Mantovani, because Mantovani has crashed down. He's dropped the bike at, where is that? That's down turn 3, that's at the chicane, and these bikes are heavy. If they can't lift them, we will see a red flag, and Miguel Pons has crashed out. Cassidy's crashed out. Pons has crashed out. They've both crashed out together. 4 retirements in the space of 1 lap. Rider okay, but Cassidy and Pons have come together, and that is such a disappointment for Miguel Pons, who made such a great start, and they've crashed out down at the museum corner. And you can't pick these bikes up, chaps. They are so heavy, as there's a magpie right in the middle of the track as well, as Ferrari was coming through as well. And we've got another crash. That's Cassidy doing that. So Cassidy, Pons, Mantovani and Spinelli all out of this race. Yellow flags galore. They haven't stopped the race though. Which, don't forget, if these bikes crash and catch fire, because it's lithium batteries as well, they can burn for days, so we have to stop the race, and then we have to go through a procedure of bike recovery as well. So, 5-second gap. The top 3 have got to now Randy Krumenaka, who is in 4th position. So it's Garzo, Ferrari and Torres at the front, like it has been in the entire of MotoE's history. It's always been these 3 up at the front, the star riders of MotoE. But who wants to be the first ever MotoE World Championship winner? Don't forget, this has literally been a World Cup before. Ferrari and Garza have won championships before, so let's see what can happen. Garza goes wide, down at La Chapelle, and through goes Mattia Ferrari. And now Jordi Torres trying to come around the outside as they come into museum. Oh, and out goes Ferrari! Ferrari drops the front, down at museum, and the front buckles as quickly as you can go. Just as he got the lead, he crashes out. I was about to bring in the yellow flag graphic because we've gone green, but now the yellow's back out again. Mattia Ferrari crashes out of the race. 12 finishes in total then. We will have at the moment with 4 laps to go. Garzo from Torres. What a messy opening MotoE race this has been. Really is quite messy for a race. Race 2 is coming up later on today, so they can't take big risks as well. It's 2 races in one day. Well, with a total of 16 laps in total, and there's Ferrari just dropping the front. And yeah, it hasn't done too much damage to the bike, just a bit of body work, I think, so they can repair that easily enough before going in. So, Garzo versus Torres for the win here at the Le Mans race for the MotoE Grand Prix of France. Race number 1 of 2. Race 2 coming up later at 3 o'clock British summer time, if I'm correct on that graphic. I need to check that, actually, to give you the information of when we're on. Yeah, MotoE Race 2 is underway at 3:10, so we're in here at 3 o'clock for all the action as Torres tries to go on the inside line of Garzo in towards the braking zone, locks up, nearly runs into the back of him. Bit close for comfort there, I'm afraid, my chaps. Just stay together. Zarcone has been given a long lap penalty. Yellow flag's been rescinded, by the way, so we're back onto green flag running. So Zarcone, who's in 5th position, has been given a long lap penalty. That's down at Garage Vier as well. Here is the battle for 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, which is closing up between them. Zarcone, long lap penalty due to shortcut at turn 4. That is at the exit of the chicane, at the Ford chicane. So that's before the drop into La Chapelle. So 3 to go then here for the MotoE race as they squeeze up. There's Kuromanaka ahead of Manfred, and Zarcone has now dropped back to take the long lap penalty. So Zarcone will drop behind Arkubo and Tito Rabat in the action as well. Torres, the good battle in MotoE. Yep, as Torres going to fly through as well. Jordi Torres, by the way, just to let you know, as well, right on the back. The gap now 0.2 of a second. Let's take a quick look at that battle script. Look at it. It is so tight at the moment. Garzo separated by 0.218 of a second, and no one's improving on their overall sector times as well. So it's literally whoever's managed to stay on the bike for the remainder of this race. 2 to go then here, lap 7 of 8. So just another 4 miles left, a total of 5.2 miles for the next 2 laps. It's a 2.6 mile circuit, so you add 2 and 2 together, and then you add the 6 and 6 together, and that makes a 0.2, so it's 5.2. Manfred has been given a long lap penalty as well on the 34. And the gap now between Garzo and Torres is 7 seconds as well. So an amazing stuff there. Zarcone, was his reason for the penalty, as we said, was shortcut at turn 3 and 4. And that is Jordi Torres on the 81 trying to go around the outside of Garzo, coming into La Chapelle down at 5 and 6. Hasn't worked out. Great exit though to go around the outside. Garzo shuts the door to go defensive, cuts the inside line as they go into the long loop left-hand hairpin that opens up, coming through Museum into the double right at Garage Viert. Manfred has got a long lap penalty due to track limits at turn 9. That's at the Aux Boots corner as well. The Chemin Aux Boots 9 and 10 before the S Blues chicane. This track literally just littered with chicanes, to be fair. It's a bit like Ponte dell'Este in Uruguay for Formula E as well as they come through. Just enjoying the noise as we can see. Hot battle, bro. Yep, really is as they're coming up. I think Torres might just have it. He's saving the bike and energy for the last lap. Garzo's going defensive. They are so tight together. The gap now is now a 1/10 of a second. The gap is a 10th. Torres is going for it on the inside. He's had a little look. He's mapping out positions of where he can make the moves on the last lap because he knows he's only got 2.6 miles left. So Jordi Torres using his mind, thinking about where he can go, where he can attack Hector Garzo as well on this last lap. And attempt number 1 is going to be turn number 1. Final lap call there for race 1 of the season. And Garzo is defending hard as we swing round turn 1. Torres looking to the inside line. He's going for it just like Garzo. He backs out of it though. Coming into the chicane. Is he going to go for a comeback on the inside line? Yes, he is. Torres dives through on the inside. Garzo catches him out. And Torres takes the lead and defends it hard. Perez has been given a track limits warning as well as they come into La Chapelle. Torres, the Spanish rider, only one, so literally there's 9 Italian riders, 6 Spanish riders, 1 Swiss and 1 Japanese in this series as well. That's it. So a Spanish 1-2 is coming the way at the moment. As you see, Randy as well, Kuromanaka, he is in a Swiss rider, so he's the only one who has one of the different nationalities compared to the domination of the rest. So Jordi Torres leads 1:43.50. He's the fastest lap at this race at the moment as they come through. Perez with a warning. Manfred hasn't taken his long lap penalty. He does so now down at Garage Viert as well. That's going to drop him down to 7th. So Kevin Manfred down now behind Tito Rabat, who gets promoted up into 6th position. Meantime, at the front, Jordi Torres into the Cheminax Boots corner as well. Manfred's been given a long lap penalty. He's been completed that now as well. But Jordi Torres is going to take yet another dominant MotoE victory. A cool, calm, selected race to Hector Garzo. He planned the moves. He knew alternative strategies of where he needed to be. MotoE's first winner of 2023 is coming up, but Garzo's getting there as well. Torres is having a few mistakes coming through into Ricudemont to the line. The first ever MotoE World Championship race winner is Jordi Torres. Hector Garzo is second. Another win in MotoE for Torres as well. To join when we had a World Cup event, now a World Championship. Hector Garzo is second. Across the line, Kuromanaka third, Zarcone fourth, Arkubo is 5th, Rabat 6th, Manfred 7th, Sarconi 8th, Frenelio 9th, Salvador is in 10th, Perez 11th, Maria Herrera in 12th, and out was Ferrari, Cassidy, Pons, Mantovani and Spinelli. What an opening race that was. Look at that. I told you, 26 minutes we've been on air. The race lasting exactly 14 minutes. It's just a short, sweet race. And race 2 is coming up later. This is MotoE, absolutely. Cool, calm racing, a lot of action, and a quick electric rump in the French circuit at the Bugatti for Le Mans. Not bad at all. They're going to go to a break now, aren't they? BT Sport. Torres wins, Garza second, Randy Kumanaka third. Yeah, I thought they might go for an ad break as well. That's really annoying as well because we want to hear from the top 3. And usually, because we don't cover MotoE, Moto3 and Moto2 live, usually that's when I stop talking, take the headphones off, and that's me done. But I've got to keep talking now that we're live for MotoE. Let's have a look. View Enormous Worlds. Race 2 after Sprint MotoGP. Yeah, so basically you'll be redirected. If you watch the MotoGP Sprint race, your stream will automatically be redirected to the correct MotoE, which starts at 3 p.m. British Summer Time. That's 4 p.m. Central European Time as well. And air temperature now down to 17 degrees as well. Well, it stayed pretty much the same throughout the session, so that's not too bad there as well. But yes, you can join us tomorrow for all of the action. We'll be live for Moto2 Race 2 after the MotoGP Sprint. We'll also be live for Moto3 tomorrow and Moto2, and then the main MotoGP Grand Prix as well. We'll also have coverage of IndyCar 4:15. You can join us for warm-up as well, the IndyCar Radio Network taking us through that, and then as well you can join us for all of the action from the IndyCar Grand Prix of Indianapolis, sponsored by GMR. That's underway at 8:30 British Summer Time with the green flag at 8:45. It's a very busy day here as well, and it's not even one of the ones that everybody has to commentate on when we've got like 11 series on at the same time. It's a very smooth weekend, but there's a lot of work to be done still. So it's about the same, but we're sticking with one series on one race, so it's just one channel we leave on the TV screens until later. So it's an easy weekend, but a bit difficult with all the notes gathering as well. Next up on the track, though, we've got a bit of a break now, I think, for the Le Mans circuit, because at 11:50, yep, so we've got a 20-minute break before MotoE gives way to Moto3 for their qualifying session as well. Will the sprint race be broadcast also? Yep, if you go onto the JB Motorsports YouTube channel, all the upcoming live streams are there. You can just hit notify me as well, and you'll get notified. So, yeah, we will be broadcasting the sprint as well. It will be live here as well. That's coming up as well at 1:45 British Summer Time as well. That is 2:45 European Time. So, Torres, let's go through the results, actually, because because we're going to be waiting for BT Sport to come back from the break. Jordi Torres wins then the first race of the year by 92 thousandths of a second to Hector Garza in second. Then we get Randy Kumanaka in third. Kevin Zaloni is in fourth. Hariki Okubo as well in fifth. Tito Rabat sixth. Kevin Manfred is seventh. And Alessandro Zarconi is eighth. Alessandro Filelli is ninth. Lucas Salvadori is 10th. Mika Perez, with that track number 1, by the way, is 11th. Maria Herrera, she finishes in 12th. Out of the race, though, was Mattia Ferrari, Matteo Cassidy, Miguel Pons, Andrea Mantovani, and Nicholas Spinelli as well, crashing out on the race. So then, let's head back over to BT Sport and all the action from that race as well, as we wait to hear from the top.
Welcome back to Le Mans, where the riders have made it down into Parc Fermé. We're going to hear from the top 3 in the opening MotoE race, starting with Randy Kumanaka.
Here he is. Well, first race of MotoE, first podium. That's not a bad day's work. How was the race for you? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a very good first race, I think. I had some crash in front of me. I struggled a bit, but I learned how to ride the bike a bit better at the end, so I could finish strong, and I'm really happy with the podium.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that is a good start, actually. And finding his way will take a little bit of time when you've got Torres and Garza who've got experience in this. That's a good ride.
Yeah, exactly. He's competing against people who've been in the MotoE World Cup for 3 years ahead of him, so figuring things out, and he's acquitted himself well. I think it sounds like he's happy with his performance there and is as straight as always.
And yeah, he's also an exciting rider. Right, let's head back down to Fran Wild with the questions. She's talking to Hector Garso now.
Well, Hector, I was just asking you, some revenge later. It was a stunning first race. You and Jordi both out at the front. What are you looking for in race 2, and how does it feel to get that first podium at least?
Yeah, thank you. We will see later what happened with Jordi, but for sure happy with the podium. P2, good points. It's important not to make any mistake in this championship, which is really short. Somehow I had a lot of problems to manage the bike on the brakes. I have lot of closing fronts all the time. I didn't want to crash. I knew that Jordi was saving a little bit the tire. I could have saw him from the screen, but well, I tried to manage the last lap, but it was not possible. Happy with the points, happy with the work, happy to stay up on the bike because I saw many crashes. And well, we will see later. And thanks to the team sponsors, and keep fighting.
Well, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will. They didn't sound too disappointed. They're clearly having a few issues, which we did see quite evidently at La Chapelle a number of times.
Yeah, we've seen so many riders crash on the front end. It is a problem that we've heard from a number of riders now, the front lock. So, yeah, a lot of force going through the front tyre with the weight of the battery when the transfer goes in there. But managed it quite well. It still looks like they've got quite a bit of confidence, but they're pushing it quite hard on entry.
So Hector Garso takes a podium in the opening round, but we're going to hear from Jordi Torres. He's just having a little conversation down there with Hector Garso. Only the 3rd victory that he's taken in MotoE, but twice a World Cup winner. Can he make it a world champion by the end of the year?
Your debrief there with Hector. Congratulations, Jordi. That was quite a great first duel of the season between you guys. I'm sure we'll see you fight it out again. How does it feel to take that first win? What did you learn that might be useful later on this afternoon as well?
Well, you can learn that you can learn that that about these races. It's the first race. We must to know how it works, the tires, the bikes, also during the race. How is the performance between the first and the last lap? It's very difficult to know in which position you are. At the beginning, I stay a little far about Matteo and Hector. In some points, I have something more to catch him, but in the last lap I try everything. But for sure I take some risks to overtake Garzo and also trying to don't catch him in to me. But yes, good result, good beginning of the season. I will see what happens afternoon.
We will. Well, best of luck in race 2 as well.
Thank you.
You've got to love Jordi Torres. Absolute character, and he is winner. Interesting, actually, though, the way he was speaking there about learning the race. They did actually have a fake race, shall we say, at the start of the year. It was at Barcelona, I think, and a lot of the top riders, Granado, Torres, rolled off.
Yeah. Didn't want to show their cards.
Didn't want to show the cards, which I found interesting, because the other thing there, what we saw is, Garzo said, Jordi Torres was saving his tyres, and Torres clearly had something left at the end there, the way he was smoking it through La Chapelle.
Yeah, exactly that. He was, everyone did seem to mark up their tyres a little bit in practice and qualifying, so this was the first race, 8 laps, and understand how the drop is and how you can manage it. But yeah, that is the thing when you're pre-season test. No one really wants to race and give away where they are. But yeah, obviously you learn a little bit from the dummy race that they do set up in pre-season testing.
A good opener, I think. A few crashes in there, not great to see, but it shows how much people are pushing at the front. The rider's going to head away and head for the podium. This was the incident. Oh, Ferrari crashed under yellow flags. You could see the yellow actually in the background. You see the yellow LED panel. Ooh, so this could mean something very interesting for later on for the second race of the day, last race after the sprint here. Yeah, he will get a penalty for it because there is no there's no interpretation of the rule. When you crash and the yellow flag's out, you get a penalty no matter what you go and prove. You could see he obviously didn't mean to crash. He took the lead. He was pushing on. He was a little bit wide off the racing line on the slightly dirtier part of the track, and it tucked under. But yeah, a penalty will be applied for the race too. You never mean to crash. No, that's true. Yeah. Although, do you, after what Mark Marquez says yesterday, after a little bit of needle that he created already yesterday evening. Just looking down through the order, we've got our top 3, Torres, Garza and Krummenacher. Zanoni, Akubo, solid start for him. Let's have a listen to what the riders have got to say.
Okay, you can go. You can start.
We have very low because with this kind of bike, you can keep on. Because the light is impossible.
You guys went so fast.
No wait with the champagne now, later.
Yeah. No.
No fight with the champagne.
No
You've got to keep it fun. Yeah, well, I'm sure they will be having fun. But I think there was a little bit Randy in his first race, and Jordi and Hector just saying, hey, it'll almost effectively, it will get there, but just don't mess with us.
Yeah.
Don't get involved. Because Randy's got form.
He does. He's an aggressive rider, former Moto2 campaigner, strong World Supersport runner, World Endurance rider, and figuring out MotoE this weekend.
So Randy Krimenacher onto the podium in his first MotoE race. Hector Garso and then Jordi Torres on the top step. Spanish 1 and 2 in the French Grand Prix. Here in MotoE, of course. As I said, later on, at the end of the day, will be that MotoE race. That's going to be on BT Sport 7, so you'll find that perhaps on your red button, or if you're watching on the app, you'll be able to find it on there too. So that's at 3:10 later on today to see what penalty Matteo Ferrari gets, and perhaps see another battle between the two Spaniards at the front. It would be interesting to see what they've learned from this first race. So Krimenacher gets his first trophy in MotoE. Hector Garso's had a few of those already. He takes second place. But Jordi Torres, who is Mr. Consistent, really, in MotoE, and that's actually taken him to the title on a couple of occasions. He celebrates as the director of e-mobility, Roberto Cane, the man behind making this new Ducati V21L, sees Jordi Torres win the first MotoE race of the season. Another 15 to go, but what a way to start for him here in front of a packed house at Le Mans. Cheers for Jordi Torres, who takes the first victory of the weekend here in Le Mans. Don't forget, we've got the Saturday Sprint coming up, but it's all action here at Le Mans after the break. Susie will be back in the paddock as we head towards qualifying in Moto3 and in Moto2.
Yeah, that's coming up next then as well. But what a absolutely fantastic opener. Oh, am I glitching? Am I back? Yeah, just about. I look like a horrible stop motion now, don't I? That's absolutely fantastic. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so yeah, fully back now. Yep, lovely. No, nearly. Okay, systems are glitching as always. What a absolutely fantastic opener then for MotoE. We will be back for race 2 of the day. That is at 3 p.m. British Summer Time. But the Tissot Sprint race is underway at 1:45 British Summer Time. Do join us then from us all here. Grab some lunch. Bye-bye.